Good morning all of you. I hope you all are fine at home. So after a long time we are here again with our video classes. So today we are moving to a new chapter, that is wave optics. Okay, so I already told that after wave optics is another important chapter in your textbook, and regarding the weightage, when we are considering, the majority of marks are coming from these two chapters, ray optics and wave optics. So understand the concept and study. It is a very beautiful lesson, I would say. So let us move to the chapter. Okay. So as far as light is considered, you know the branch of physics that deals with light is known as what? As optics. Okay, we already studied ray optics. Then there were so many theories regarding whether light is in the form of a particle or light is in the form of a wave. Okay, so first of all, when we consider the main theory regarding the particle theory of light is corpuscular theory, which was formulated by our famous scientist, that is Isaac Newton. Okay, so corpuscular theory actually it was formulated in 1675, corpuscular theory by Isaac Newton. So according to this theory, Newton considered light in the form of particles called corpuscles. Okay, he considered the light in the form of particles known as corpuscles. This theory, according to this theory, he stated that light travels in the form of a straight line. So rectilinear propagation, you have studied from your smaller classes, you have heard the word rectilinear propagation, which means that light travels in a straight line. So these are all facts coming from this corpuscular theory. Okay, so corpuscular theory was formulated by Isaac Newton in 1675. According to this theory, light consists of what? Small particles known as corpuscles. Clear? Now this theory gives satisfactory explanations for certain phenomena like reflection, okay, refraction, etc. So this theory could explain the main phenomena of light like reflection, refraction, etc. But it failed to explain, or it cannot explain certain other phenomena of light known as interference, diffraction, etc. Okay, so this corpuscular theory was able to explain what? Reflection, refraction, etc. But it couldn't explain the phenomena of light like interference, diffraction, etc. In such a case, new theory was introduced by Huygens. You have heard the word Huygens, Christian Huygens. So Huygens proposed the wave theory in the year 1678. Huygens proposed wave theory in the year 1678, in which he said that the light is actually in the form of a mechanical wave. Light is a mechanical wave. So what do you mean by mechanical wave? What is a mechanical wave? Yes, mechanical wave means a wave which requires a medium. It requires a medium. So light, actually for the propagation of light, it requires a medium. That is what said by Huygens. Okay, so Huygens considered light in the form of a mechanical wave, or specifically if I am saying it is in the form of a light is a transverse wave. You have studied transverse wave as well as longitudinal wave, and there you have studied that light is an example for transverse wave where sound is an example for longitudinal wave. So I am not going into the details because you have studied those things in your +1 classes in the chapter oscillations and waves. Okay. So here, Huygens wave theory, which was formulated in the year 1678, suggests that light is a mechanical wave which requires a... So also, he suggested that speed of the light depends upon the nature of the medium. Speed of light depends upon nature of the medium. Okay. Now, he suggested the existence of a hypothetical medium known as ether. That is, he said that this is a hypothetical medium which is a massless and highly elastic medium. Okay, massless, highly elastic and less dense medium. Actually, it is not there, but it's a hypothetical medium which spreads everywhere. Okay, so he considered or he assumed, he suggested the existence of a medium known as ether. What is the name of the medium? Ether. It is a hypothetical medium, and what are its specialities? Massless, then highly elastic and less dense. Medium is there through which the light travels. And there is an equation in classical theory, that is V velocity is equal to root of elasticity divided by density. Okay, and in such a medium like ether, it's already said that it is highly elastic and less dense, right? So highly elastic and less dense means velocity will be high. So it is easy for the light to travel through that particular medium. Understand? So these are all theories put forward by whom? As Christian Huygens. And Huygens wave theory could explain so many things that Newton's corpuscular theory couldn't. That is, he could explain the rectilinear propagation. First of all, he explained the rectilinear propagation, then reflection, okay, reflection and refraction using Huygens wave theory, and these two are very important when our boards are considered, because it's a very good question usually asked. Proof is there. Using Huygens wave theory, how we can prove the laws of reflection and laws of refraction, that we have to study. And then he successfully explained interference, diffraction, etc. Clear? So Huygens wave theory considered light in the form of what? A mechanical wave or a transverse wave. He said that the speed of the light depends upon the nature of medium, and he also suggested the existence of a hypothetical medium known as ether, and this ether was a specialty as it is a massless, then less dense and highly elastic medium through which it is spread everywhere so that light can travel fast. And you have the equation V equal to square root of E by rho, in which E is elasticity and rho is the density. So if it is less dense and highly elastic medium, the velocity will be very high, isn't it? So that this particular light can travel easily through the medium. So these are all explanations given by Huygens theory, and this theory can be called as ether's theory. Okay. Now we have to study in detail about Huygens principle. Huygens principle. So when you are moving to Huygens principle, please be careful because so many important points are there. Each point is important. If you are not getting it, you can't go through the next point. Understand? So please listen carefully and then take the notes. Okay. So let us move to Huygens principle. So I will teach you as different points so that it will be easy for you. So first of all, we will move to a very important term, that is wavefront. So for understanding Huygens principle, this term is very important. First I will give the definition for this. This wavefront is actually defined as the locus of all points vibrating in the same phase. Okay, so it is defined as the locus of all points of a medium, vibrating in the same phase. So what does it mean? That is, first I will consider a point source of light. Okay, I have a point source of light. According to Huygens theory, this light is in the form of what? A wave, right? So in all directions the waves are moving like this, isn't it? In all directions the waves are moving like this. Suppose this point I will take it as at time t equal to 0. Clear? Now after a particular time interval, that is let time is equal to t1, let the time be t1, I have to take the position of each particle or each point I have to consider. Understand? That is, after a particular time interval, here this travels at a distance. This point, if I am considering, this is the point. Again after t1, this is the point. After t1 here, this is the point, and here it is d. Okay. Now, if I am joining these particular points which are in the same phase. Phase you have studied. What is the general expression for wave? You have studied like y equal to a sine omega t plus kx, isn't it? This particular thing is the phase. That means it consists of time and displacement, isn't it? So, after a time interval t, what is the position there in each direction? This is actually the direction of the light, isn't it? These are the directions of light ray. So, what is the position in that particular ray? If I am considering what is the position at a particular time interval, in all directions I have to check. Then, I just combined that points so that I got a spherical wavefront. Understand? So it is defined as the locus of all the points. Locus means what? Position. I can say the position or a space at which we are considering. So locus of all points vibrating in the same phase. For example, you know phase because if I am considering a wave like this, okay, this is 0, then pi by 2, pi, here it is 2 pi, here it is 3 pi by 2. If I am considering another wave, okay, starting at the same point, and traveling like this. So here if I am checking, here both cases it is 0, then here it is pi by 2, then pi, like that is going. Understand? So these two waves are in the same phase. They are vibrating in the same phase. They are oscillating in the same phase. For example, if the second wave is like this. Okay. Second wave is like this. This is actually pi by 2 ahead. Isn't it? Pi by 2 ahead. So there is a phase difference. This is what meant by phase. Understand? So that phase difference is actually mentioned here in this part, in the last portion of the wave equation. So here, if I am saying the points or the points that we consider here are in the same phase. And if you join those points, we will get a wavefront. And for a point source, what is the shape of the wavefront? It is spherical in shape. Understand? So wavefront means it is defined as the locus of all points of a medium vibrating in the same phase. Understand? Here I am considering a point source. So waves will be moving in different directions. In all directions it will be moving, right? Here all points it will be moving. And after a time interval t, if I am noting the displacement, I will get each point I will get here, isn't it? And if I am joining all those points in that particular time interval, I will get a spherical wavefront. So I can define the wavefront as the locus of all points of a medium vibrating in the same phase. Clear? So this is what wavefront is. Clear, no? So what is a wavefront? It is defined as the locus of all points of a medium vibrating in the same phase. Okay. So now can we move to the second point? Okay. Now we will move to the second point. Listen. Second point is the direction of propagation, direction of propagation of the wave, or I can call it as the light ray, okay, is perpendicular to the wavefront. The direction of propagation of the wave is perpendicular to the wavefront. What does it mean? That means if I am considering a point source, I told that the wavefront will be in which shape? It will be in spherical shape, isn't it? So for this spherical wavefront, what about the direction of light ray? This is the direction of light ray. Sorry. So this is the direction of light ray. Here you can mark this arrow because this is the direction of light ray. And the light ray, how is the light ray? It is always perpendicular to the wavefront. The light ray is always perpendicular to the wavefront. Okay, and this point is actually a hint to draw the wavefront for each cases. Next we have to study the types of wavefronts, in which it will be easy if you know this point. What is the point? The direction of propagation of the wave is perpendicular to the wavefront. Okay, direction of propagation of wave, in the sense it is a light ray. That is, anything which is perpendicular to the wavefront can be called as a light ray. So a light ray is always marked as perpendicular to the wavefront. Clear? So we'll move to the third point, that is types of wavefronts. Okay, so next is types of wavefront. So already you know first one, that is if the source is a point source. That is, if the source of light is a point source, what is the shape of wavefront? Just we studied. What is the shape? It is spherical wavefront. Okay, if it is a point source like this, the wavefront will be spherical. Clear? Now this is the direction of the light ray, which is perpendicular to the direction of wavefront, or perpendicular to the wavefront. Clear? So this is the first type. So there will be a question, what is the shape of the wavefront for a point source? Light coming from a point source. What is the answer? It is spherical in shape. And if you are asked to draw, you have to draw. Okay, and in this direction you have to put the arrow mark because it shows the direction of light ray. Clear? Now the second one is, if the source is at infinity. Source at infinity. So what about the light rays coming from infinity? We have studied in the diagrams, no, image formation and all you have studied. The light rays coming from infinity will be parallel, isn't it? The light rays coming from infinity is considered as parallel. So here also I have to consider the parallel light rays. And for parallel light rays, I already told that what about the direction? The direction of light ray and wavefront is always perpendicular. So for this particular parallel light ray, what about the wavefront? Yes, wavefront will be like this, isn't it? Like planes. Okay, so wavefront I can draw like this. It will be like planes. Clear? Okay, so for parallel light rays, it will be planar wavefront. Okay, now the third one is, if it is a linear source. So for a linear source, for example, a slit. Okay, small slits, no? It's linear in shape, small slits. Slit means a very small hole through which the light comes. If it is linear in shape, if the slit is linear, suppose you consider like that. So it is also a source of light. So light, when it is passed through a linear source, like this, if I have to consider a linear source. Clear? Now each point will be, as each point, this consists of a number of points like this, isn't it? So for each point I have to consider, means it will be like spherical, right? So for first point it will be like spherical. Then again second point spherical. So as a total, if I am considering, this will be in the form of a cylinder. Clear? So for a linear source, the shape of the wavefront is cylindrical. Understand? For a linear source, each point you can take it as sphericals. So the sum total, if I am taking, means it will be in the shape of a cylindrical wavefront. Cylindrical wavefront. Understand? So I can say for a linear source, the shape is cylindrical. Clear? So linear source will be like this. Then the shape of the wavefront will be like this. Clear? This is the third one. Okay. So each point, if I am considering, the light rays will be like moving like this. So for that, what about the wavefront? It will be spherical. So each point like that, right? So as a total, if I am taking, it will be in the form of a cylinder. So I can say that for a linear source, it will be cylindrical in shape. So first is a point source, second is a source at infinity, and third is a linear source. For a point source, it is spherical wavefront. Don't forget, for a point source, it is spherical wavefront. Then for a source at infinity, it will be planar or in the form of planes. And the third one is, as it is a linear source which has a cylindrical shaped wavefront. Understand? So these are the types of wavefront, very important. Again, diagrams are asked to draw from this section. You are given a point source and you are asked to draw the diagram. Then you are given linear source, you are asked to. Linear source in the sense it is also asked like a slit, light coming from a slit. And like that also the questions can be asked. Clear? Okay. So the next point is, every point on a wavefront acts as a source of secondary disturbances. Okay, every point on a wavefront acts as a source of secondary disturbances. What does it mean? As I already told that if there is a point source, the wavefront will be spherical. So the wavefront is spherical. So this is your wavefront. This is the point source or the primary source which emits light. Okay. Now, in this wavefront, each point, if I am considering, each point in this wavefront will act as a source of secondary disturbance. Which means that in this particular wavefront, if I am considering each point, each point will result in the formation of new waves. Disturbances in the sense, new waves. Okay, so each particular point will act as a source of secondary disturbances. Clear? ഇതിലെ ഓരോ പോയിന്റും എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? സെക്കൻഡറി ഡിസ്റ്റർബൻസ്, അതായത് രണ്ടാമതൊരു വേവ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു സോഴ്സ് ആയിട്ട് ആക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്? നൗ ദിസ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ പോയിന്റ് ഈസ് എമിറ്റിംഗ് ഓർ ഈസ് being a source for the disturbance, and so this can be called as wavelets. Okay, wavelets or secondary wavelets. Okay, so how can I draw the secondary wavelets? Please listen here. This is a point source. Okay, now this is the what? Wavefront for this point source, and these are the points which act as a source for the secondary disturbance. Then this much is clear, no? Now this will create what? The secondary wavelets. That means this is the secondary wavelet. Understand? This is the primary source. Now this is the wavefront. Okay. This is the source of secondary disturbances or source of disturbances. Okay. and this is the wavelet. We call it as the secondary wavelets. This much is clear. Don't get confused. This is the point source. Now this is the wavefront. These are the points which act as the disturbances or the source of disturbances. Okay. Now this is the what? Secondary wavelet. Secondary wavelet. This much clear. Now what about the speed or what about the movement of these secondary wavelets is very important. These secondary wavelets spread in the forward direction. These secondary wavelets will move in the forward direction with the same speed as that of the wave. Okay. Wave in the അതേ സ്പീഡിലായിരിക്കും എന്ത് ചെയ്യുക ഇത് മുന്നോട്ട് പോകുന്നത്. Okay, these secondary wavelets will move forward. We are not taking the backward direction. It is moving forward with the same speed as that of the wave. Very important point. It will move forward with the same speed. Clear? Okay. So this is the fourth point. Once again, every point on a wavefront will act as a source of secondary disturbances which emits their own wavelets known as the secondary wavelets. What about the speed? The speed is same as that of the speed of wave. Okay, now you are clear. This is the point source. This is the wavefront. These are the sources of secondary disturbances. Then this is the wavelet. Okay. So the next point is the common tangent on secondary wavelet in forward direction will give you the new wavefront. Okay, don't get frightened by seeing the statement. It's very simple. That is, now we know to draw the wavefront for a point source. Now you know what are the source of secondary waves. Now you know what are the secondary wavelets. Everything you know. Okay, so let us consider a point source. This is the wavefront. Okay, these points are the source of secondary disturbances. Now these are the secondary wavelets. Clear? Now listen to the statement. The common tangent on the secondary wavelet. Okay, if you are drawing a tangent to this secondary wavelet, അതായത് ഈ സെക്കൻഡറി വേവ്ലെറ്റ്സ് നമ്മൾ എടുത്തിരിക്കുന്ന സെക്കൻഡറി വേവ്ലെറ്റ്സിന് കോമൺ ആയിട്ട് ഒരു ടാൻജന്റ് വരയ്ക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഓക്കെ ഇഫ് യു ആർ ഡ്രോയിങ് എ കോമൺ ടാൻജന്റ് ടു ദ സെക്കൻഡറി വേവ്ലെറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ദിസ് വിൽ ഫോം വാട്ട് ദിസ് വിൽ ഫോം ദ ന്യൂ വേവ്ലെറ്റ്. Understand? If you are considering a point source at a particular time interval, this is the what? At a distance x1. Suppose this at a distance x1 you will get one wavefront. Another one, if I want to draw the next wavefront, means it should travel a little more distance, right? So it is at a distance of x2 so that I can draw another wavefront. Clear? So there will be number of wavefronts will be there. For example, if you are putting a stone in water, ripples will be formed, isn't it? And it will move like this, isn't it? That's what wavefront. Just assume, okay? Assume. Then so these are the different wavefronts. So this is the first wavefront, secondary wavefront or the second wavefront. If I want to draw, what I have to do? I have to draw a common tangent to the secondary wavelet in the forward direction. That's also important because here in this backward direction we are not taking. The reason I will explain later. So here the forward direction, towards the forward direction, if I am drawing a common tangent, I will get the new wavefront. Okay. In other words, if I explain, listen carefully. This I already told that these secondary wavelets are moving with the same speed as that of the wave. Isn't it? The wave has a speed. For example, if the speed of the wave is taken as v. Okay. So these secondary wavelets are also moving forward with the secondary wavelets are spreading in all directions and it is also in the same speed as that of the wave. So what about the speed of secondary wavelet? As it is v. Okay. Now after a time t, I want to find the distance up to which the wavelets reached. Clear? After a time let us consider it as tau. Okay, after a time tau, if the speed of the secondary wavelet is v and the time is tau, what about the distance traveled? As it is v into tau. Why you are taking like this? As speed is equal to distance by time, right? So distance is equal to speed into time. Here the speed of the secondary wavelet is v, which is the same as that of the wave. Then the time is taken as tau. So this is the new distance. So this is common, isn't it? Because time is same, speed is same. So this value will be same, right? So I can take this much value and I can place like this. For example, okay, again here these are the sources of secondary disturbances and here there are secondary wavelets. Anyway, if I just look here, I just took the distance x is equal to v tau. How you got this distance? You understood. How? Because speed is same as that of the wave and time we took. It is same, no? So at each point if I am taking, I can place here with a distance of v tau and just draw an arc here. Isn't it? I can draw a arc at each point with a distance of v tau. Clear? And if I am joining or if I am drawing a tangent for this arc or if I am taking an envelope for this arc, I will get the secondary wavefront or the second wavefront or the new wavefront. Understood? Two ways I explained. First one is simple, the common tangent on the secondary wavelet. The common tangent on the secondary wavelet. And for next I already told that you have to study the proof of laws of reflection and refraction using Huygens wave theory. And in that case, we are actually using this format. Why? Because you are taking a common, this is for the same medium. Okay, if the medium differs means speed also differs. This is for the same medium so that this speed is same, no? The speed is same. At each point the speed is same. And time interval you know. So you know a value v tau, which is actually the distance traveled by the wavelength. And with that value, I place here and draw an arc. By joining the arcs or taking the envelope of these arcs, you will get the new wavefront. Understand? So that is what the fifth point says. The common tangent on the secondary wavelet in forward direction. In forward direction gives the new wavefront. Okay. So these are the main points with respect to Huygens principle starting from wavefront. Okay. So if the points in Huygens principle is concerned, you have to say the fourth and fifth points. Fourth and fifth points actually. And also you can mention the speed also. Direction is perpendicular to the wavefront. That also you can mention. The other two things, that is wavefront and types of wavefront, just for information I told. But clearly you have to study starting with the wavefront. What is wavefront? It is the locus of all points in a particular medium vibrating in the same phase. Okay. ഒരു സെയിം മീഡിയത്തിലുള്ള പോയിന്റ്സിന്റെ, അതായത് ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടൈം ഇന്റർവൽ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ എവിടെയാണോ നിൽക്കുന്നത് ആ ഒരു പോയിന്റ്സിനെ എല്ലാം കൂടി നമ്മൾ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തെടുത്താൽ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് കോൾഡ് വേവ് ഫ്രണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് ദർ ആർ ത്രീ ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് വേവ് ഫ്രണ്ട്. ദേ ആർ സ്ഫെറിക്കൽ വേവ് ഫ്രണ്ട്, ദെൻ സിലിണ്ടറിക്കൽ വേവ് ഫ്രണ്ട് ആൻഡ് പ്ലാനാർ വേവ് ഫ്രണ്ട്. And cylindrical wavefront is for linear source like a slit. Okay. Then for a point source you are getting spherical wavefront, and finally for a source at infinity you are getting planar wavefront. These things clear. And what about the direction? The direction of the light ray is perpendicular to the wavefront. So that's a very good hint for you to draw the wavefronts. If different things are asked, no, you can draw the wavefront with that point. That's a clue actually. And then we are moving to the final point, that is every point in a wavefront will act as a source of secondary disturbance which emits its own wavelet known as a secondary wavelet. Okay, and the common tangent on the secondary wavelet in forward direction will give you new wavefront. So now let us look the behavior of prism, lens and mirrors with respect to the wavefront. How can we draw the wavefront for the incident ray as well as the emergent ray in the case of a prism? Okay. So for a prism, you know, this is the incident ray and this is the emergent ray, right? Okay. So if there are parallel rays like this, we'll move like this. So what about the wavefront? You know, these are parallel rays, parallel light rays. Okay. So here you will get plane wavefront. Okay. Plane wavefront. Here also it is moving like this. So you will get plane wavefronts. Understand? So for a prism, for incident as well as emergent ray, you are getting what? Plane wavefront. Now in the case of a convex lens, if there are parallel rays coming like this, you know it will converge to a point here, that is focus, isn't it? Number of parallel rays will converge to a point called focus. So here it is parallel, right? So what about the incident wavefront? Incident rays. For incident rays, what about the wavefront? It is plane. So here it is plane wavefront. But what about here? You know, this is actually coming to a particular point. Okay. So for a point, you know, you will get spherical wavefronts. For a point, you will get spherical wavefronts. Understand? Now here it is a concave mirror. Concave mirror again, parallel light rays after reflection. Reflection, what will they do? As they will converge to a point called focus. Isn't it? So what about the wavefront? What about the wavefront? Yes, it is like this. That is, for the incident rays, it will be plane, and for the final for this particular image, it is coming from it is actually going into a point source so that it will be spherical. So here also like this. So these are also asked for your board questions. So go through it. It's very easy. In such a way, if any question comes, you can draw. For concave lens, then for convex mirror, anything you can draw. Understand? So clear? Today's topic is very, very important. Only if you understand this topic, we can move to the further topics in this lesson. So read it thoroughly and try to make notes by seeing the class itself. Okay? I hope today's class is okay for you, and have a nice day. Thank you.